So there's three core reasons of why people simply do not buy from you. And if you ignore these three reasons, you're going to see a drastic dip in performance. You won't really see people convert on your site. It's going to be very difficult to scale your product and your brand itself. So what are these three reasons? Well, we're going to start off with reason number one, and it's your product as a whole lacks importance in the market. And if our product lacks importance in the market, it doesn't have a strong reason why people should technically give a fuck. What we want to do here is we want to start attaching it to the benefit of the benefit. So if we look at this from an example perspective, if we think about Facebook ads, right? Facebook ads is an amazing tool because it allows us to reach millions of people that are going to potentially can buy from you. And we don't really think about that. When we're actually running Facebook ads and we're setting up a Facebook ad and stuff like that, we think of the benefit of the benefit. We're thinking about the fact that, okay, well, if I can reach millions of people that can potentially buy from me, what's the benefit of that? Well, it's gonna be a lot easier to make money. It's gonna be a lot easier to obtain financial freedom. It's gonna be a lot easier to scale my business and make fuck you money, basically. So what we think about here is more so the benefit of the benefit. And if you look at it from a perspective of what everyone simply promotes, right, around the Facebook ad agency world, the course world and stuff, it's all about the freedom you can attain by just running Facebook ads for people and stuff. We don't necessarily think about it just from the, hey, what does it allow us to do? And what's the benefit of that? We think about the benefit of the benefit. So if your product, say for example, let's go back to the trusty old energy drink I use in all my examples. Hey, this gives you more energy. That's a benefit. But what is that benefit of the benefit? Well, for me, it allows me to get a lot more work done. It allows me to film YouTube videos. It allows me more energy for YouTube. It allows me to dial in and focus when I need to write a sales letter for a client or something like that. And that makes me so much money that spending $3, $4 on one of these just doesn't even coexist with me. It's just whatever. I don't really care. I make so much more than what it costs me. But if I thought about it just from the energy perspective, right? If I think about it just from, hey, I need energy, let's go get the energy drink. I don't think about it like that. I think about what it's going to allow me to do and the benefits of the benefit in that sense right there. So you just gotta be cautious, right? Because if you go too extreme with this, right? Hey, I drink these energy drinks because it helps me make money and I make 7 figures a year. So if you start promoting, hey, drink this energy drink and make 7 figures a year, that can be an extreme claim right there. Even though someone experienced it once, it can be an extreme claim right there that the mass market hasn't experienced or doesn't want to experience. And from that perspective right there, that ad will suck and still do terrible. So you can do benefit of the benefit, but it has to be realistic based off what people still care about in that case right there. So number one, reason why people don't buy from you is lack of importance. You're basically promoting a boring product, or you're promoting a product that, people just look at it right now and are like, okay, whatever, right? I think about this when we were used to run ads for a metal signs brand where, they were stuck at $800, $900 a day when we first started running the ads in terms of revenue, not even ad spend. And, originally it was just the benefit of, hey, this is a really cool piece of metal wall art you can put on the wall, and that was it. But then the secret for us being able to scale from $800, $900 a day in sales to $10K a day in sales was that we were able to go ahead and attach it to the benefit of the benefit. Hey, the benefit of this is not that it's a beautiful piece of wall art. This is a perfect gift for your sweetheart, right? And being able to attach it to that right there, it gave it significant amounts of importance, which allowed us to scale because people weren't just seeing it as a piece of metal wall art now or a beautiful piece of wall art. It was, what's the benefit of the benefit is that this is an amazing gift for someone. Adding more importance to your product will help you increase that urgency, increase the reason why people want to buy it, and it's give you substantially better results for that. Now, next reason why people don't want to buy is too complex, right? If things are too complex and people do not understand it, how it works and what does it do, people will always say no. I remember one of my first personal brand clients back in 2017 when I was getting my agency, kind of like, just pitching people and stuff like that. There's this one particular girl I worked with. Her name is Edna Keep, and Miss Edna Keep, she was a real estate investor, and she specifically focused on teaching people multi-room real estate, which technically would be like, you buy apartment buildings because it's still one mortgage for an apartment building versus a house that's also one mortgage, but like you lose the tenant for the house, you're fucked. Whereas for the apartment building, you can be at 60% capacity and like still be profitable or break even right there. But anyway, one of her favorite things she's always said was, a confused mind always says no. And I still live by that today. That's a really good lesson I learned from one of my early on clients. And I think about that as well when I'm writing ads, especially for more complex products like supplements and, digital products and even products that, maybe aren't like look simple, but still like we have a complex mechanism that gives them uniqueness. Being able to simplify that in a way that makes it easy for people to understand. So I always look at this example right here as something that came from PayPal, actually, where when PayPal first came on out into the market and stuff. And I don't know if it was Elon that started PayPal or just kind of got in the middle of it. But originally it was like, hey, send digital currency from IP to IP on a 128-bit encrypted network, right? Like that was the benefit of it. That was what was being communicated. But then when we simplified that, or when the person that did the simplification, I'm not sure who exactly did that. That'd be an interesting one to look at. But basically, hey, send money to your friends over email, right? So this is a simplified way of explaining that. And this will do 100x, maybe even 1,000x better than this, because only more like techie nerds people would understand this, whereas the mass market will understand that better. So something I always love to do is that when I'm writing my ad and stuff is I'm going line by line and just making sure it's very simple to understand. There's no complex language being used. There's no complex way of like explaining it. That's why I love using metaphors within my ad when I'm explaining something, because it helps people better understand how it works and what does it do and stuff like that. So just simplify your messaging, and then this also can translate back to the visuals you use in your ad. Just don't forget like your landing page, your product page and stuff. You also want to simplify that. There's a rule of thumb with writing ads and creating ads and stuff, which is you always want to create ads that a fourth grader can understand. It's not that most people are stupid, is the fact that when you're skimming really fast and scrolling through a bunch of different Facebook posts and stuff like that, anything that uses very complex language takes a little bit longer for you to like break down and understand. So you'll have a highly like more likely reason to swipe, right? Versus if you go ahead and simplify it, it's quicker and easier for people to understand. It's like if I gave you a math questions or a math problem and said, what's 2 plus 2? You're like 4. It's like, boom, easy. But if I said like, hey, what's 128 divided by 5 multiplied by 6 and then divisible by 3? Like something crazy like that. Like you may be able to do that, but it'll take you a little bit longer. And because it's so challenging, it's like, I don't even want to give my time to that and move on. So same thing when it comes down to a creative that's difficult to understand, that's more complex to understand. People are more likely to swipe away because it's like, I don't feel like putting all my brain power to this. I want to turn my brain off, and I don't want to have to sit there and think about this random fucking Facebook post that's too complex to understand. Like, so swiping it more dopamine somewhere else. So if your product is too complex and people don't understand it, you're going to have an issue here. So you need to simplify that from that. Next one, and the last reason why people don't buy is your product is too expensive. Basically what happens here is that there is a what I would say a value mismatch and an avatar mismatch here when it comes down to something's too expensive, right? Here, all we want to do is just compare to a more expensive alternative. So this is also going to change like our demographic a little bit. So in this case right here, I used Rose Skin Co. Rose Skin Co. did a phenomenal job at this, where they basically went after, people with like, if you just go after and say, hey, you want smooth hairless skin, buy our $200 laser home, at home laser IPL device, right? And it's like, I'm not spending $200, what I can do with a razor in 5 minutes, right? But instead, one thing they did is they started going after people that were already spending money and like hated spending the money on laser hair removal that cost $200 a session and sometimes needed 5 or 6 sessions a year, or they went after people that just simply couldn't afford laser hair removal, and they were looking for a cheaper alternative, right? So instead of going direct at the mass market that's already kind of like maybe a lower quality and stuff, we go after a little bit higher quality people that are already spending that money or can't afford to spend that money. And what we do is we just showcase a cheaper alternative. So, hey, if you can't spend $200 a session and do 5 or 6 sessions a year, imagine only spending $200 once, and this thing will last you the next 5 years. That's what a laser at home IPL device will do. Or, hey, if you're tired of spending $200 a session and you're tired of being vulnerable in a public setting and you want to be more at home, for example, when you're being vulnerable for this laser IPL device, then here, look, just pay us $200 once. You get this device and it lasts the next couple of years and it's a lot cheaper, So essentially what we're doing here is we're starting off with the large thing and the more expensive thing, and then we're going into the cheaper alternative. Now, I also love doing this with like my sales letters, my advertorials and stuff, where I will start off and especially if I'm writing for like an unaware market, right? Or a problem aware market. And I'm like, well, look, like you need a product that, if you want to master stock trading and stuff, one of the biggest problems that people have is a delay of news, in the sense of like, if you want to get more wins for stocks, you just need to see the news like 5 to 10 minutes before everyone else. Because when you go and put your position in right now is that you're 5 to 10 minutes late to the market, and the market has already moved before that position actually basically opened up and stuff. So if you want to have more winning positions, you just need to get to the market sooner. Now, what expert stock traders do use is a $25,000 terminal, Bloomberg terminal. That's what they leverage, and that's how they can get to the market before you. Now, look, I understand $25,000 for someone who is only just starting out and trading and with a couple $100s in their stock market account, their brokerage account and stuff can be expensive. So in that case right there, what I have done is I've actually gone ahead and built a private Telegram group where as I'm trading live, leveraging tools like the Bloomberg terminal and stuff like that, I'm entering my positions and you can watch me and get those exact positions as I'm placing them to where you can beat people to the market versus using things like news websites like Yahoo News or Fox News or anything like that. You can beat all those people to market inside of my private Telegram group. And the great thing about this is that I only charge $1,200 a year for it, or you can do my monthly subscription fee, which is only $150 a month. So if you're more interested in that, click the link below. So you notice how right there, for that, I started off and I told people the problem. I went into what the solution would be essentially, and then what the product will be. Notice how I said solution and product. The solution was just, hey, you just need to get to the market 5 to 10 minutes before everyone else and get that real-time news directly to you. That's the solution. The product is the Bloomberg terminal that costs $25,000. I think a year actually. I don't have the exact research in front of me, but I know it's about $25K for that. And so I immediately showcase a very, very high price thing to where it's fuck, I don't have $25,000, damn. And then I said, well, look, if you don't have that, cool, then the next best option, and then I gave the next best option, which still made sense relative to the solution I pre-framed people with, but then I gave people the product after at a much cheaper rate of only $1,200 a year. Notice how that sounds way better than $25,000 a year. And then I further even decreased it even more by calling out the fact that they could do a monthly subscription for $150 a month. So a little bit more for the monthly subscription, because I always want to incentivize people to pay for the year at $100 a month, which is $1,200 a year. Or if they don't want to pay for the year, they can get in for as little as $150 a month, which now this $150 a month sounds like a no-brainer in this sense, versus the $25K versus the $1,200. The $150 a month sounds way better. And then 150 times 12, we're going to make $600 more on that particular customer over the course of a year and stuff like that. So again, too expensive way to solve that particular problem. And I would say these are the 3 main things that are preventing people from buying from you now. Now, with that being said, some brands I've consulted with and mentored and stuff like that, they're experiencing all three problems. And then there's been other brands where they're only experiencing one of these three problems. So first off, it's a good idea to audit all of your ads, your sales pages, your landing pages and stuff like that, and look where you can drip these things in to start taking action on them, and then even film some new ads with these things incorporated. From there, give it a test. Let me know how it works in the comments. If y'all enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you want me to run your Facebook ads, click link below to have Nick Theriot run your ads. And if you want me to mentor you, go through your ad account, questions, and all of those good things there, then click link below to have Nick Theriot mentor you. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope you have a good rest of y'all day. Peace out.